our next guest rode a wave of anti-Republican, anti-Governor Christie sentiment to a very strong victory on Election Day last week. Now, as governor-elect of the state of New Jersey, Phil Murphy has a lot on his plate.
And the Garden State's credit rating has been downgraded several times. Residents pay some of the highest property taxes in the nation. Don't I know that? And he must reinvigorate a slowly growing New Jersey economy. So how's he going to do it all? Phil Murphy is joining us here to explain. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
Let's talk about first of all, showing the video on election night, because the second that happened, Rosanna has been talking about it forever. It came so natural, I guess, spur of the moment.
It almost looked like you were a rockette.
I hope my kids are watching for that one. It was literally spur of the moment. Pretty excited. Here we go. Wow. Okay.
And then, like, there was a slide. I'm just wondering, are you a good dancer?
I'm reasonable. I did a lot of musical comedy when I was in high school and college.
Really?
Where'd you grow up?
I was born in Boston. I grew up outside of Boston and went to Harvard College. I was in the Hasty Pudding Show for 4 years at Harvard. So I did a lot of musical comedy. So I maybe channel a little of that on election night. I wasn't intending to, but I admit to you that it came out that way.
So that just came out?
Literally.
Okay. Can you ever replicate something like that
I think I could say with certainty no. I was worried about my pants ripping, the whole, I don't think it could ever happen again.
All right, let's get down to business now, because transition, you've already been working since you got elected. You got a transition team.
You bet.
Together.
Yep.
Chief of Staff named yesterday.
You bet.
What else do you have planned?
Well, we have a lot planned. So you're absolutely right. We won the election 8 days ago. We had to hit the ground running. We only have 70 days, being inaugurated on January 16th.
Right.
This is an enormously powerful governor's seat in terms of appointments. So getting transition committees up and running. We announced our chairs a couple of days ago. I'm particularly proud that it's the most diverse group of chairs in the history of our state. Extremely talented, as you mentioned, Chief of Staff, Chief Counsel, lots more to come.
So I know that you've talked about legalizing marijuana, and your Chief of Staff actually had a business with marijuana, right?
Yep.
I mean, so is that going to be a problem?
No, it won't be a problem.
Because he ran a marijuana company.
Completely coincidence. Pete Camerano is a great guy. He and I go way back. He's a former Chief of Staff, actually, to Governor Dick Cody. And I met Pete when he was Chief of Staff. He's seen it all. He's been in Trenton. It's also consistent with our Lieutenant Governor-elect, Sheila Oliver, somebody who I think is a rock star. Both Sheila and Pete have seen it all in Trenton, and we need folks to have that mix of skills and experience. So I'm thrilled with this election.
Let's stay on the marijuana topic right now, because there was a huge push for that. You thinking that it could generate about $300 million in revenue for the state. At the same time, there's such a pushback when we think of Christie and his fight against opioids, and people saying that that could be the gateway to harder drugs. Talk to us about that.
So the principal reason and the most important reason for us to pursue this is social justice. New Jersey has the widest white, non-white gap of persons incarcerated in America. I say this as much as a former national board member of the NAACP as I do as a governor-elect. Not the only reason, but the biggest contributing factor is low-end drug crime. It's hugely disproportionate. Secondly, I'm happy we're not first. You know, we like looking at what Colorado did right and wrong. Nevada, Washington, California's up. We're trying to go to school and figure out what worked, what didn't work.
But does it lead to other addictions, harsher drugs?
I'm comfortable with the following reality. It's in our midst. So the option is, do you not regulate it? Do you not accept it inside of a framework and still have it exposed to our kids? To have no real, decriminalization allows it to stay in the hands of the bad guys. If you legalize it and you regulate it and you do it right, and it has to be done right, you have a much better social justice reality, but you've got a better environment and framework in your state.
But let's face it, I mean, the state will also make a lot of money.
Yeah, listen, there's no question about it.
Off the backs of somebody who may wind up going to rehab. You know?
Now, I think that the track record that you're seeing in the other states, you've got, for instance, Colorado. A study just came out where opioid deaths are meaningfully down. over the period that they've had legalization. So there's a lot of data that suggests this is a smart way to go. I didn't get there overnight. I'm a father of 4 kids. So this was not an easy one, but it's overwhelmingly compelling the more I studied it.
Well, let's talk about what has been in the news overwhelmingly, Senator Bob Menendez and his trial that seems to be going on, and they just released one of the jurors, started all anew, but now there might be the possibility of a mistrial. But if that does not happen, and Senator Menendez is convicted, and you would have to be the person to pick his successor. Have you started thinking about that? Do you have a short list?
Yeah. The answer is I have not speculated about it for a second, honestly. The senator, like any other U.S. citizen, is entitled to the full to the full legal rights that any other citizen would have. We're not going to speculate on that. Let's see how this plays out.
All right, property taxes. What are you going to do for property taxes? That's all everybody. Lori talks about
Lori
it.
Asked you as a Bergen County resident.
My friends in Jersey talk about it. Property taxes.
Listen, this is a state where over the past this administration, property taxes already starting at a high point are up 17%. The middle class has paid a big price in particular. A couple of things. One is we got to grow the economy again. New Jersey used to grow. We were Silicon Valley before there was a Silicon Valley. We used to take advantage of our God-given location and invest in infrastructure. We've gotten away from all that, so we got to grow. Secondly, if you look in your town or any other town in the state, you pull out your property tax bill, a big chunk of it's public education. I think on average it's 53%. For all property taxpayers in the state. We've underfunded the school funding formula in New Jersey over these past 8 years by over $9 billion. So the direct way to get property tax relief to the middle class is to fully fund public education, which we'll do. So grow the economy and fund education are the two first moves.
Sounds rather simplistic.
All right, we have the governor-elect with us.
All right, welcome back. George Washington Bridge as your day gets started, and we are now holding over Governor-elect to the great state of New Jersey. Phil Murphy is joining us here for a get-to-know-you kind of conversation and issues that he has to tackle.
We got to ask him about the bridge because your commercials were all about the George Washington Bridge. You stood in front of the bridge. You were side by side by the bridge. You talked about the bridge.
Listen, in our commercial, we said, listen, this was viewed to be a major political accomplishment by that administration, and we just see that differently.
So we asked Governor Christie about the bridge and the commercial, and we want to play his answer.
And if he thinks by running stupid commercials of him standing in front of the bridge, you know what I think when I see that?
What do you think?
He minimizes himself. He's looking backwards. Leaders are supposed to look forwards, not backwards. He's looking backwards, and he thinks he's going to get political gain out of it. What I'll tell him is...
Well, you did get a political gain.
Yeah, I guess we won, right?
So were you running against Christie or Kim Guadagno?
Honestly, running against both. I mean, the lieutenant governor was by his side every step of the way, and this was, I think, a very clear choice of another 4 years of the same old, or turn the page and change.
So did the voters vote for you, or did they vote against Chris?
That's a good question. You will have to ask some folks. I think we gave, with all due respect to the governor's answer, I think we gave folks a real reason to believe. We said all over the state that we have to get back to a stronger, fairer economy that works not just for some, but for every New Jersey family. And that begins by rebuilding the middle class and the dreams of those who aspire to get into it. So it was a contrast, but I think we were pretty clear about what we stood for.
So Valerie on Twitter says to me, you know, you have a lot of promises, including community college, making that free for everybody. And to actually fulfill these promises, you either have to raise taxes pretty high or basically break the hearts of progressive people out there. What are you going to do?
Well, God willing, we're not going to break their hearts. We've got to, I'm proud of the plan we have, actually. So you've had an administration almost 8 years, which gave a pass to the wealthiest, the biggest corporations with some loopholes that exist in New Jersey. By the way, we're hardly George Washington. Most of these loopholes have been closed in other states. Hedge funds have been allowed to wander untouched. And the middle class has paid the big price. So I'd say to Valerie, salary, help is on the way for the middle class and those who aspire to get into it. And that's real relief. That's investment in education, infrastructure, property tax relief. We'll get tax fairness for the wealthiest and the loopholes to find our sources for that relief. And I would say further, we're going to be sensible. We got to get this economy growing again. So you mentioned free community college, which I think is a bargain. It's at most $200 million a year in a budget of $35 billion. I've said we want to get to that when we can grow our economy and find the resources. So it's kind of a pay-as-you-go notion. I'm confident we can grow the economy. We'll do it.
All right. The burning million-dollar question. Are you a Jets, Giants, or Patriots fan?
Oh, my Lord, please don't tell me. So I met the owner, John Mara of the Giants, and he said, "Please let's get this off your chest. What are you?" And I said, "Listen, the bad news, Mr. Mara, is I grew up in Boston."
So that means you're a Patriots
but listen,
fan?
I said to him, "Listen, the good news is, for you, Mr. Mara, I walked by your 4 Lombardi trophies, and my team is on 2 of them, and your team has a bigger number than my team." So
he's not going to really answer.
Yeah. No, listen, I'm not going to.
But you're going to go to the stadium, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, because we have a mayor here who won't go to Yankee Stadium because his sentiments lie in Boston.
No, listen, we love sports. We love sports of all kinds. Soccer is a particular passion in our family. All of our kids play it.
4 children.
4 children. 2018, 16, 14. Please keep me in your prayers. So we're big sports fans. Absolutely. We go to stadiums of all shapes and sizes.
All right. We hope you'll come back.
I would love to. I would love it.
All right. And the 16th is
January 16th is the inauguration.
All right. Exciting stuff.
Best of luck.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you very much.